Hey guys, and welcome back to The Letter. So I mentioned last time, this is finally new stuff. I don't have to re-record episodes. I don't have to do it again. I'm here. We made it. We made it to new content where I can actually be surprised about things. Yeah. Okay. I don't think we need a recap. Just, we're in a hospital. But sure enough, when I shift my gaze up, Ashton's there, leaning casually against the edge of the bed, arms folded across his chest, while sporting a pensive expression on his face. I'd say it's close to wistful, but this is Ash. And with a moment, where did I get moment from? And with the room's lights dimmed down, one really can't tell.
Hey, Ash.
If my sudden movement surprised him, it only shows a slight lifting of his eyebrows before he acknowledges me with a small nod.
How long have you been here?
Just came in a few seconds ago.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you.
Figures. It's not a problem. You probably need to rest anyway.
You're the one talking. You look like shit.
So I've been told.
Seriously, how long have you been up?
18, 20 hours or so? It doesn't matter. I'll get some shut-eye later. Where's Rebecca?
I sent her home early, but she'll be back too.
Oh my god. Hey, I thought we were gonna get a cool like bro moment. Both of us turned just in time to see Rebecca ease the door open and step inside. She's brought us a traveling bag with her. Is that oranges a smell? And from the way she transfers it's low to her other hand. It's heavy enough with things for maybe 2 or so days worth of sleeping out. I don't know what to say to that, quite frankly. Or if I'm even supposed to question her about it. Ashton no doubt has a remark or two about it, but before any of us could comment, she raises a hand to stop us.
It's not mine. 3
words, and they're all telling enough. Just like that, an awkward silence descends in the room. All of a sudden, just the mention of her has become sort of taboo between us. Funny, when she's just lying a few inches away from us. God knows if she's even aware of us. Even in the quiet, I can hear her laughing. We're making a big deal out of this, she'll say. It isn't anyone's fault, but it's obvious that, one way or another, each of us hold our own selves responsible for what happened, however irrational that sounds. Plenty of what-ifs, should-haves, and could-haves going around. But it's almost stifling.
Always prepared, ain't you?
I just packed what she'll be needing for a few days. I figured it'll be easier for me to bring her things since I live next door. Go take a break now, Zachary. I'll stay with her until tomorrow when her aunt gets here. She's flying over from the other side of the country. Heard she had to file a leave to get here as soon as possible. Oh, what a mess all of this is.
Don't you have class tomorrow? You sure about that?
I can always call for a leave, too. I've got plenty, since I rarely ever use those. Someone has to stay here after...
No, I'll take it from here.
It's not that his offer is any way unexpected. It's not even in the way he delivers it. Ash may be too distant to other people, rude to some, downright embarrassing to a few, but those he keeps close. I'm positive he'll never hesitate to show some willingness to help. He cares. He really does. Simply in his own, unorthodox way. I'm sure Rebecca's aware of this too, more than anyone. But the tight expression on her face, her strained grip on the bag, and the stiff line in her shoulders suggest a different kind of understanding. Yeah, we get it. He likes Isabella. We know. Even in the sharp, biting tone her voice takes, despite the meaning in her words.
You don't have to do that. Zachary and I can handle this for a few days.
Both of you already had your turn with this. It wouldn't hurt to have another person helping out.
This isn't some sort of a competition, Ash. We're doing this because someone has to be here for her.
And now you're kind of making it about you, Rebecca.
I'm not making this one. I just volunteered, didn't I?
Don't you have an investigation to finish?
And Zach has freelance gigs in line for the next few days. You have students to teach. Don't push it, Becca. All 3 of us have things to take care of on our own, but between us, it should be easier to find some time to...
Fine. Good.
Her voice is almost too quiet. Like the calm on the eve of a brewing storm.
Do what you want.
She doesn't give him a chance to get another word in. In 3 steps, she closes the distance between them, hands him the bag, with a little more force than necessary, in my opinion. Then with nothing more than a sharp glare at him, she marches out the door. Maybe it's just me, but in the brief instance our eyes met, hiding behind that flash of anger is... hurt. Did something happen when I wasn't looking? I don't really get... I mean, I guess I can understand why she's mad, but also it's not like they're dating and he doesn't even know because she hasn't told him. I don't know, it's a lot. It certainly doesn't seem that way from the way Ash is acting.
You go ahead, Zach. I'll take over for now.
You sure this is fine?
Yeah, sure. It's not like this is a hard task. I'll probably get more sleep here than if I stay at the precinct or in my car. I'll call when something changes with Isabella, if that's what you're concerned about.
You ain't worried?
About what?
The ghosts. I'd say Rebecca, but he doesn't seem to have noticed earlier's exchange. Regardless, I'm not the kind of person who finds joy in prying. And it's certainly none of my business. On top of that, we have Isabella here, bedridden. Rebecca's right. It's one problem after another, and to be truthful, I kinda ought to ask for a little breathing room already. But that ain't how it always goes. But that ain't how it always goes, ain't it?
This, everything, the accident. I don't know. You tell me. You were there, weren't you?
That gives him a pause, his hand stopping short of placing the bag on the table. Judging by the conflicted look on his face, he doesn't know how to respond to that. Yet.
About this, I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I'll find out myself who did this and make sure that bastard gets his just desserts.
So you do have an idea who?
Vaguely, but nothing conclusive yet. I'd rather not say anything until we've got everything sorted out.
Is everything in here, everything in the story, like, cyclical? In the sense of, like these people know each other, and because of the circumstances, like, you know, Isabella being, a house seller, what's that called again? Real estate agent, like, she met the Wrights, and the Wrights just happened to know about Marianne, and, like, because of the fact that Zach's, like, a photographer, he just happened to meet Hannah, and Hannah and Beck just know each other. Is this, like, was it Luke? If it's Luke, like, I'm gonna... Ooh, buddy, I'm gonna... That's me punching my own hand. I'm gonna beat him.
It's a huge mess. This and that other case. It might even be related for all we know.
Oh.
Thinking about it gives me a headache.
He lifts a hand and pinches the bridge of his nose. His eyes are squeezed tight in what's perhaps a struggle not to overthink, or keep whatever frustration he feels at a considerable distance, preferably far enough so he can think clearly. When he's like this, it's better to leave him alone with his thoughts. But as I'm about to pull the door open, ready to make my leave, he calls out.
Do me a favor, Zach. Make sure you keep away from the Wrights this time. Tell Rebecca the same thing.
It's Luke, isn't it? Holy shit. Hey, Zach, one more thing before you leave. Make sure to just keep eating those damn oranges. And he like, salutes him. The name rings a bell, though. At the present, I can't recall where I've heard it recently. Nevertheless, I nod and nearly give him some sort of peace of mind. This guy already has enough on his plate.
I'll remember that.
Not enough oranges, though.
See you later.
If you catch up to Becca, make sure she gets home safe.
Will do. Go get some sleep yourself.
I throw him one last look, even though at this point I'm sure he's searching for it in his face. I'm not sure what I'm searching for in his face. Reassurance? Some sort of encouragement or proof that everything will be alright? I won't dare ask anymore. Not when he's doing this, looking forlorn. Like as if he's failed a lot of people. One person in particular. With one last wave, I close the door behind me, leaving wishes of hope and a whole slew of unspoken remorse and concerns in the room. My apartment is more than a welcome sight after everything. Although it's small and begs for a little cleaning repair, it is at the end of the day the closest I have to respite. Sure, my sister would say a thing or two about how messy it is every time she visits, but it's still home to me. A mild draft sweeps in the room as I close the door behind me, slightly disturbing the papers on the nearby fridge. Most of them schedules, lists, and tasks for the next few days. Some of them are the personas that I commissioned from various artists. You know, me, a man of culture. My persona... Actually, what would his persona be? That's a good question, actually. I feel like I don't know enough about his personality, but he's really sweet and kind. He isn't... I'm gonna think about this. My first thought is bear, but I don't know if that fits. Huh. Maybe a dog. I don't think dog fits either, though. I don't know. I'll keep that in the back of my mind. Something to keep me busy, sort whatever out. And now with what happened to Isabella, something to temporarily take my mind off things. A lone note flutters by my feet, the letters on the surface glaring at me with mute intensity. Oh. I thought it was gonna be like, help me, help me, help me. After Ashton's warnings, they all hold a different meaning now. Oh, am I gonna do the tour again with... Aw. That's cute. The next 2 days... I'm sorry, the humming is super cute. The next 2 days rushed by in a blur, altogether leaving a collective mess of work suddenly piling up and unexpected acquaintances. Oh, and new unexpected acquaintances or friends? Depends on how you look at it, really. Either way, I'm stuck developing these photos at 3 in the morning to reach a deadline set by an overeager art director. Don't get me wrong, Julius is good. Julius, you know, from Orange Julius. Oh, it's all coming together. My huge web, my plot, my story, it's all coming together. Julius is good, has a vision. He knows what he wants, but damn, he can be a little too enthusiastic sometimes.
Doesn't matter when you couldn't sleep anyway.
There's nothing new in it, of course. After years of working as a freelance photographer, it's simply something I've grown used to. Get to know people, build a client base, do good work, cash in some late hours if need be. Rinse and repeat. It certainly takes a while to get some footing on that field, but it's the kind of thing that pays off in the long run, as long as you keep at it. Given enough time, you might end up with a big name on your client list. Names like the Wrights in particular. I never did pay much attention to them, but it's virtually impossible not to hear about them when the local news channel or paper has something to say about their name. A party here, an acquisition there. Sometimes it's a new business venture, or other times it's everyday gossip that typically follows popular people like them. Not in a million years did I ever imagine I would end up working for such a high-profile couple. And between that and the fuss that comes with it, it leaves me no time to ponder over what happened to Isabella or why Ash is so adamant we keep away from the pair.
They do seem like the good folk, though, despite the whole fame thing.
Luke said a slur directed at you. They're not a good couple. This game is trying so hard to convince me that Luke's a good person. But he's not. He's not. He will never be a good person. Sure, there was a rumor running around a year ago about him being involved in some business scandal. Just like every gossip blown out of proportion by the media, nothing came of it, and eventually it simply died down. Much is definitely left to be said for the husband, but I doubt a woman like Miss Wright would pick him if he doesn't have any good points at all. Miss Wright, Hannah herself, though. She ain't particularly bad in the way the press makes her out to be. The tabloids had it all wrong, that's for sure. For someone born with a silver spoon in her mouth, well, she ain't exactly what I was expecting. Among other things, the newfound friendship is what I least expected from her, but here we are. Although, with a life as public as the Wrights, no wonder it's a woman who often gets the crappy end of the stick. You know it, Zach. I can't help but feel sorry for her. She's a real nice person when given the chance. Heck, she might have ended up friends with Rebecca and Isabella if they weren't living worlds apart. Probably. The beep quickly pulls me back before my thoughts travel any further. In one practice motion, I carefully place the wet print I'm holding on a drying rack and amble over to the makeshift darkroom to get the last photos from the water bath. Inside the converted broom chest. Yeah, all the hard work and like printing he has to do, it's all in a treasure chest. The broom closet. The film processor lets out a soft clack before going into standby mode. At its mouth, a lone photograph sits by a tray, barely visible with a lack of light. It's the last one tonight for the set Miss Wright requested. I don't usually make this habit, giving away stuff that is. It's bad for business, no matter how well-intentioned or generous you are. This exception, however. She did treat me well, and was pleasant companion all throughout the shoot. Even if she didn't ask, I would have probably given her a few prints just for the hell of it. Miss Wright ain't such a bad subject matter to begin with. And maybe this is just me, but for someone who has everything at the palm of her hands, all the money in the world, a loving husband, he's not loving, and a plenty big mansion to call home. She's lonely. She doesn't just appear like it. It shows in the tone of her voice, how she moves, and most certainly in her smiles, always hidden behind the glamour for the world to never see. Sometimes for people like her, small things like these help, a little reminder that the world can be kind too. Water drips from the paper as I blindly pick it up and gently lay it on another tray, holding a decent amount of photo flow. A few seconds on the solution is all it needs before it's ready for drying. No good rushing this last bit, even if my body's already screaming for some decent snooze. My hand fumbles for the light switch, moving towards it with familiarity, while I fish for a squeegee among the mess of tools on the drawer with the others. The bulb flickers twice before its glow settles in a cast of soft light in the tiny space. When I glance back down, squeegee in hand, ready to finish the process and finally call it a night.
What on earth?
Her head is gone. Blurred and distorted beyond recognition, rather. The area completely smudged over, leaving no trace of the same sweet smile the good woman carried in the previous prints.
Damn, that was too careless.
A common mistake to make, of course, if one is negligent enough to pick a newly processed photo in the dark, like I apparently did. It has happened before, loads times actually. But still, I can't help but feel a small pang of frustration over one mistake a newbie would likely make. With a sigh, I've reached up for the switch again, intending to develop a new one from scratch.
It could pass off for one of those supernatural pictures they show on TV, though.
That would be crazy. That's crazy, Zach. It could never. No, never in a million years could it be supernatural. A memory clicks, one cursory thought in the sea of many, and a short, yet distinct second from the day before. A glimpse is all I got, but it's enough to burn an image in my mind. There was a shadow. Oh, her brain is out. No. A woman. In her 20s, early 30s maybe? But with how far gone her flesh alone has become, it's not possible to tell at first glance. The skin itself has already taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and lesion in her body. Bony hands grip Mrs. Wright's neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Listen, I feel like it's a little bit rude to call this woman gaslit. I mean, she is just one of the painters that's renovating the house, and I mean, it's natural for her to be covered in all this red paint, and I mean, scratches can come with the job too, depending on, what kind of medium you work with. Those palette knives sure are dangerous. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes.
Zachary?
Not for me, but for Miss Wright.
Zach, is something the matter?
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
The memory alone is enough to make me retch. I brushed it off then. A trick of the eye, I told myself, or a product of the heat. Ooh, I don't like the music. The weather has been unexpectedly warm recently, so it shouldn't be too surprising for such things to happen. And well, blaming it on the usual fatigue, an overworked brain, the weather, or an amateur error on my part is far more convenient. It makes a whole lot of sense that what the small voice inside my head whispers. The same tiny voice that only makes itself known when something's afoul. The same one that lent a curious ear to Isabella's worries about the mansion. And with the second I spend staring at the photograph, the memories in my head only grow louder against my ears. Someone has to know. Huh. Here's my thing. Something's going on with Hannah. Which scares me, because, if she's being possessed by it, then, I don't know if that's... Ash won't believe me. I'm gonna do a little light reading in my journal. Okay. So this happened ahead of time. Okay, so Hannah, I could tell Hannah. Hannah is a very viable option. But Ash won't believe me. This is hard. You can't just do this. I wouldn't mind. Oh, I haven't hung out with Ash though. But what if he knows? No, okay, no. Because if I'm sorry that this is just reasoning, but If I show Ash, she's gonna be like, why are you hanging out with the Wrights? I'm showing it to Hannah. I don't have an explanation for what I saw yesterday. Yet. But when you've been there, seen something enough to raise the hairs of the back of your neck, or leave you wanting to flee or hide, finding a more solid proof than a person's smudged off face in a photo is the least of my concerns. Ashton will undoubtedly give me flack for saying that, or even considering Isabella's words in those silly tales about the place. The guy is a skeptic through and through. It'll take more than an account for him to even give it a single thought. However, more than his opinion, it's Mrs. Wright's that I'm concerned about. Surely she must have felt something if those shows on a... Surely she must have felt something if those shows on a TV are to be believed. A touch of coldness in her neck, or maybe the feeling of being watched. That's what often happens, ain't it? Outside, the sun is yet to rise. I've still got a few hours before dawn. Good enough time to mull over how I'll go about warning her. Plenty of space to check if I'll get the same result if I redo the process again. The film processor hums back to life at my touch. The light switch gives off a soft click, and the darkness embraces the small closet again.
Somehow those urban legends don't sound so silly now.
Oh, cool. In hindsight, this is a dumb idea. You know what? We'll end it here. We'll see what happens. You can totally check, like, the options, and, like, things all happen with the branching tree. So I might do that off the camera. Either way, we're sticking with this one. So, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you next time. And goodbye.